some important updates here in regards to the Oregon standoff, and it's been a minute. And I'll continue to update as I come across more information because things are constantly changing on the daily. But we have David Fry here trying to get everything sealed. And some interesting things happening here. As he's wanting the public to not be able to see from here on out anything that's going down, he is in a position, like Pete Santilli, where they can use every bit of his footage against him. He was the one that was showing it to the whole world from inside the compound all the way up to the end. And this is after Pete and everyone else had done been arrested and taken in. Because you see how everything played out, these guys were the last ones to go in, and now at this point, several have taken plea deals. Ritzheimer here recently just put out a statement accepting guilt. Santilli, on the other hand, shot down a deal. I think it was a 6-year. I'm not 100% certain there, but I think it was like a 6-year deal. And said that he would take it to trial and fight it, which I guess the trials are set for this fall. But they have a long list of items that they're going to use against Santilli. You're talking photos, messages, emails, phone calls, everything. Because they track everything. And it's not until you get put in the hot seat that they pull it all out. I hope you guys are paying attention. I hope you're paying attention. Everything. Everything you do. And they could try to twist it and construe it in whatever direction. And who knows what each and every one of these individual men have done behind the scenes. But the fact is this, is that if they're going to use all that against Santilli, then you know that they're going to use everything that David Fry had against him. And there's also been question how some of these people have been making social media posts and doing all kinds of other stuff. If they were on lockdown the way that it all seems. A lot of questions, but this is one case, Oregon. Then you have Nevada. Guys that have been released already and that are out. And people wondering how things are possible. Well, we're just going to have to sit back and see who accepts what up to these trials. But they're definitely going to use Facebook videos. I mean, you name it. Everything. They had a long list. Every little photo, message, phone call, everything. And they're going to have the same thing on him. And he was instrumental all the way down to the end in pulling this whole thing off. Because it wouldn't have gotten the attention or anything if Mr. David, that just kind of showed up out of nowhere as the tech guy, didn't broadcast it and wasn't able to get a broadcast out. And that was another thing we talked about the whole time, is they can shut down anything. They were shutting down their electric, power, I mean, everything you could think of, they were shutting it down. But they allowed them to keep streaming. They allowed them to keep streaming. They could have shut it down like that. Why did they do that? Because it allowed them to have their eyes and ears right there on the ground. You see, once you didn't need Santilli's stream no more, once these guys were inside the compound and it was established and they were surrounded and it was on, you didn't need none of them. Now the focus, now you have a stream on the inside, so let's focus on that. That's what they did. And now they're using it against him. And it goes well beyond that. Once things begin to get sealed here, I hope people are paying attention. But then there's the talk of Bundy, Ryan Bundy here recently. And the details of this, I've heard some of the details or could be true and others not. But there was a report that he had got roughed up, Ryan Bundy, beat up, roughed up. There was an altercation being taken from one point to another. And it was stated that they were trying to get a bullet out of his arm from the whole incident, that it was still in there. And that they wanted to remove it because it's evidence. And as the storyline goes, they were saying that they were shooting with non-lethal rounds, rubber bullets, at the vehicle like that whole time. But then somebody was shooting real bullets. And they want to know who to prove it or to cover some tracks. And it's interesting. And how would you feel if this was true? If you were in the cage, and you had a bullet in you and they come snatching you up to go and cut it out of you, take away the evidence. Then what is anybody going to do to prove anything? If that's the case. As I get more information on that, I'll continue to update. And if I get any more tonight by the time we do Underground World News Live, I'll update there tonight, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Dabu 77. And make sure to check out Sherry Roberts. She was going to have me on the show. Then I had things come up and couldn't make it. Hopefully I'll get back on her show here shortly. But she has a ton, and I mean a slew of information in regards to all this. And really keeps up to speed with what's happening with this situation. And is on top of it. Is always putting out the best information possible. And has been following the lawyers and the other news outlets and journalists and everything else and getting their hands on documents like this that show what's going on. While the mainstream or no one else will ever say a word about any of this stuff that's going down. They don't even give any updates to it. So, I'll leave links. Much love, y'all.